We'll go on to Ask Us Anything now. And start off with some red hot soccer chat. Zachary Martin's asked, does DCL have a chance to win the Golden Boot this year with the start he's had? Ellie?
No. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Nah. No,
Not even
of course
on
he
pens.
doesn't. He needs to rely on Seamus Coleman doing his business every single week, doesn't he? It's not going to happen. I mean, he'll score loads, but it's not going to happen, is it?
No, probably not.
Not when you look at the players that win the Golden Boot. Like I said before, Ali McCoist. He's no Ali McCoist, is he?
What have you got to say about Calvert-Lewin? Well, he's no Ali McCoist.
He's no Ali McCoist, but, maybe in a few years. He's not going to do it at Everton, is he? If he was playing for, I don't know, Chelsea, City.
Yeah. Anyone else.
No shade to Everton, but...
It's all right, we're allowed to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's
God given right.
Yeah, exactly. Dan, what are you saying?
I think now he's on pens. I think he'll get close to 20. But I can't see him getting the Golden Boot. But yeah, I think he should get 20 this year. If he stays on pens, I think he'll be, he's scoring kind of, ugly, horrible goals now, and he's on pens and stuff like that. And that's all you kind of want him to do. So, I think we've got enough service coming out wide, as long as everybody can stay fit, because the squad is pretty threadbare. But yeah, I'd expect him to get 20 this year in the league.
I think the penalties thing has gone under the radar a bit in the fact that we're actually getting penalties these days.
Yeah, it's been mad, isn't it?
It's years without getting a single one, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, there was that point, wasn't there, where Mourinho and Wenger in the same season both called Andy Johnson the diver,
Yeah.
And we didn't get a penalty for about 2 years after that. And then, but yeah, I mean, if he keeps banging them in, he'll get 5 or 6 of them potentially in a year. And then, I don't care if it comes off his arse, his face, or his ear roll, it don't matter, does it? I think he'll get, if he doesn't get 20, I think he'll be a bit gutted about it, actually.
Well, just to go back to the ask, because he said about going in off his arse, he's got to be the only player who scored with his plums and his bum. He scored with both. No player can say that, I'm sure.
Oh.
Warran?
Ellie might remember this player. I think he's going to do a Marco Negri. Do you remember Marco Negri?
Yeah.
When he was at Rangers, and he scored about 45 before Christmas. It wasn't that many, but it was quite a lot. It was like 30 or something, genuinely 30 before Christmas. And then he just completely went off the boil. I think he still ended up top scorer, though, in the league, didn't he? I think he's going to do that, DCL. I think he's going to be red hot till about January, and then he just will go on like a 1 in 14 sort of run. And he'll end up only scoring 24 or something, and we'll all be like, well, if he'd carried on the rate he was going, he would have got 4. He would have broken Dixie Dean's records. So I reckon that's what will happen, yeah. Especially with the pens, yeah. I think it's brilliant he's on penalties. I remember a few years ago when he scored he took one for England, didn't he? And he just rattled him in the top corner. And this was before he was even first choice for us. And I think people then were saying, I'll get him on pens if we get one. So I'm made up he's on penalties. He looks really assured on them as well. Just straight in the corner, keeper no chance. So made up he's on them. Yeah,
fingers crossed. Next up, Foxy. Would signing Serge Aurier on a 3-year deal make you happier or sadder about EFC's transfer window? Warran, will come back to you on this.
Do you know what? He's one of them players that I know he exists, but I don't know. I don't know if he's good or not. I know he plays, and I know he's probably being hyped. He's ex-Spurs or at Spurs, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just left on
his
contract ended.
Just sign him. Why not? I mean, might as well give him inflated wages for 4 years, mightn't we? That's what we tend to do. So why not carry on? I'm terrible at stuff like I think I know a lot about football, and then this question comes up and I'm like, I can't offer any opinion. I don't want to pretend to offer an opinion because I really don't know if he's good or not. So I'll probably leave it to the others to tell me if he's any decent or if not.
Anne, do you have an opinion on Serge Aurier?
I think I don't think anybody in England will sign him. I think he'll probably go back to France or something. But I think if you could get him on a short-term deal, he's pretty berserk. He's not a great defender, and you know what I mean. He's good going forward. He's quick. He's strong, and all that sort of stuff. And it was a bit of a shock that they just ripped his contract up and let him walk out the door. A bit like Willian, really. It was a bit weird, wasn't it? They just sort of went, "Yeah, okay, you can go." And But I think if we could get him on a short-term deal, it's cover. You know, and we haven't got a lot of that at the moment. Unless Rafa's decided that he thinks Kenny's all right for that cover when he needs him, or he can stick Holgate in there. I don't know, but I'd 3 years would be mental. I think, he's 28. I think he's 28 now, something like that. So I think 3 years would be a bit berserk, and he'd probably want good money. I think short-term deal would be a no-brainer, but I don't think he's going to. I think he'll just end up, back in. Yeah, he's all right. He's not brilliant. He's all right.
Just be mediocre right back. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Well, fans jumping. Ellie, what do you reckon?
I'm with Warran. I had to Google him. Obviously, I've heard of him, but I was like, why are people bringing him up? So I Googled it, mainly because I was like thinking about how we nearly lost Andre Gomes. So I was like, what does he look like? Maybe he'll be a replacement for FC Hansen, but nah.
Was he not involved in Gomez's injury?
No, it was. Oh no, I don't know actually.
Oh, it was a fullback, wasn't it?
Because Son was the tackle, wasn't it? But then he fell into somebody, didn't he, as he went down?
Yeah.
You might be onto something there, Les. Is it actually a credible link? Or is this just
I think he's just free, so it's like...
it was just a question because he came up.
Yeah, he's on a free, so... And we're desperate.
But it's still a big, massive no. Is Andre Gomes still with us, or has he gone to Benfica?
I think
he's still there.
Oh, right. I really should know that, but I don't.
No, I had a look before and I couldn't see anything to the contrary, so thank God.
FC Hansen lives in my... Laura's asked, I think this was on the back of Paddy's tweet about the footy shirts. In fact, it definitely was. What's the most random name you've had on the back of one of your footy shirts, if you've had any? I haven't had any. Ellie?
I've only ever had Kinchelskis.
That's it. That's fair. That's not embarrassing at all. Dan?
No.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Les, I've got lots of footy shirts.
Yeah.
I think the most embarrassing one, I mean, there's one that legally we probably can't mention.
Does it begin with an S?
Yeah, it's an Iceland shirt. And,
okay.
But the other one that's pretty, it never gets bought out because of who's on the back. I've got the Nike home Everton kit with Morales on the back, first season, number 11, with the little white collar.
Is that the rugby shirt one?
And the white on the sleeve.
The big white things. So
they looked a little bit cotton traders, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was, he was incredible, wasn't he? That first season, he was just incredible, and in a moment madness during the sale, I went, yeah, mate, I'm having that. I'm having the Morales. He's going to be incredible, mate. And that just went horribly wrong, didn't it? His eyes were too close together. I should have seen it a mile off. Yeah,
he had a bit of an ostrich look about him, didn't he?
But he had it was all in one place, wasn't it? All his features were within a 3-inch triangle, Yeah. It was all crammed in the middle of his Swede, wasn't it? So, Morales and the legal embargo.
Belgian beagly. Warran?
I'm going to give you one of my boring American stories that I seem to do every time I'm on here now. But
that's what we're here for, mate.
When I was in Minneapolis, I went to watch Minneapolis Football Club, which are like a fourth-tier local, Northern USA sort of team. And it was really good fun, actually, really good watch. But they run quite well for the level of football they're at. And they sold, and they tried to come up with these different and obscure but like trendy kits, and they try and bring them out different all the time. So I bought this pink Minneapolis FC Away Kit, and we had to travel a little bit away from Minneapolis because we were watching them, funnily enough, on an away day at some college somewhere. Brilliant. But I said, whoever scores today, that's whose number I'm going to get on the back. So the fella who scored, his name was Isaac Friend, but his nickname was Goose. So I've got Goose 9 on the back of me, Minneapolis FC. So I've been wearing it to the gym, or worn at the gym before, and someone says, is that your nickname, Goose? And no, Don't worry about it, long story. So that's probably the most random. And there's some like 26-year-old American walking around like Minnesota who's got some lad from Liverpool with his name on the back of his shirt. So all power to him.
Goose, unfortunately.
Goose,
yeah, I haven't got one, but I always have to tell a story of Jay when he got his remember the camouflage goalie kit. So we really liked that. It must have been about 9 at the time, something like that. He really liked that, so we bought that top. I said, do you want to name a number on the back of it? Yeah, I want Kale 17. It's a goalie top. Don't care. I want Kale 17. So I've actually got this camouflage goalie top with Kale 17 on the back.
Must be the only one in the world.
It's got to be.
Got to be.
Nah, you can get away with stuff like that. I don't think I've ever been more jealous of a child as when I was at New Brighton with Jay and he was on the sort of roundabout thing with the cars dressed as Spider-Man. Like, that's all I want in life. I want to be able to do that. But it passed me by.
And not get arrested for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Not look like Fathers for Justice. Next up, John, quite existential. Anyone chip on this? Because what's the point of Everton? Just shrugs all.
The glorious highs, the devastating lows, and the creamy middles. That's what Everton's all about.
What else would I spend my money on?
There is that. Yeah. There's football else to do on a Saturday.
Yeah. It's like buying drugs in an alleyway at 1 o'clock, isn't it, in the morning? Because it could go really. This could be brilliant, or it could be absolutely horrific, and the thrill of it is enough to keep you going. And as I say, it's the devastating high. It's the big highs, it's the lows. It's the perpetual. You're safe in the knowledge that it's never boring.
That's true. Actually, it is
never boring, and it's roller coaster is an understatement, isn't it? Because it's more like a roller coaster that's on fire, covered in dog shit.
My thing is, though, I mean, I think as Matt said on a lot of the podcasts, as a team, like a football team in the Premier League, Everton has got to be the most boring one there is because we very rarely do anything out of the ordinary. But when you're invested as a fan, it's mental.
Yeah,
it is all over the shop, considering we're so dull to everyone else. Really?
Yeah.
It was the tweet the other day someone said about only Everton Football Club would have James Rodriguez still available and fans be annoyed that he's still here. But that has only happened with us.
I was one of them. I'll be honest. I was like, that's $800,000 a month that we could use. I was thinking, I kind of got annoyed with his face by the end,
Well, he's not gone, has he? He's still here.
No, but, every time, towards the end when he was on his jet and he was, and all that. And then Carlo went and all that. And I just kept seeing his face and I just thought, I just wanted to hit him. I was one of them that on deadline day, I was like, we need the $800,000 a month to go and get a right back. I don't care. I don't care if he's got the best left foot I've seen since Kevin Sheedy. I don't care if he's potentially one of the most talented footballers we've ever had. I don't care if he's got a global reach of 60 million people. I want a right back. And I just don't care if it means we never see him ever, And I was one of them. I was one of them kicking off on deadline day going, I just want him gone, But yeah,
And there's still only about 4,000 of us who've actually seen him in the flesh playing for Everton. What? Is that not the most Everton thing ever? Yeah. Ever.
Actually sign a world-class player. None of us have seen him.
Yeah, every time there's a crowd at Goodison, he's never played a game in front of a crowd at Goodison. He's been there for a year.
I actually think against Burnley now we should just put out our most handsome team we possibly can.
Might as well.
Good-looking fellas in, see what happens.
Who've they got? Jay Rodriguez? Does he play for them still?
Yeah.
I think he does, doesn't he? That's all they've got.
Yeah. They've all got the same haircut as well. I remember tweeted something.
Well, mate, Sean Dyche makes them do that, doesn't he?
It's part of it's kind of around the corner from Turf Moor.
Yeah, it's part of his sort of gravy boot camp, isn't it? It's sort of, the Sean Dyche, guard and punches them in the balls when they get into work every day and stuff like that, isn't it?
Got a haircut you can set your watch to, as Keith would say. Next, so we still don't really know what the point of Everton is. That's the point, I suppose. Next up, Lawtona, 3-part question. Is cereal soup, Ellie?
No.
Dan?
No.
Warran?
It's too lumpy.
Absolutely not.
Definitive. What animal is the biggest party animal, Warran?
Biggest party animal? Come back to me.
Okay, Dan?
My initial emotional feeling was the killer whale. Because, have you ever seen that clip of a gang of killer whales and there's a seal on a block of ice?
Yeah.
And they all gang up in a row and then they dive to make the wave to knock him off. And I think that looks like a good night out. Like, you know, when you've got one person in your like there's one person in your party that's gone too big too early and you end up sticking them in a wheelie bin or something.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you were going to say taxi, but no, a wheelie bin. Of course, yeah.
It's London, a taxi get you nowhere, will it? I thought you just fancied a little bit of seal club on every weekend, something like that. No,
I was just about to get my blue belt, and it was the blisters on my hands. It was just, it's the they don't like you wearing gloves up there. It's a purist thing.
Yeah, ridiculous. Ellie, biggest party animal?
I don't know. Did you see that video of those tortoises running dead fast?
Yes.
Maybe
Tricky
them.
little bastards, aren't they?
But I don't know if it was real or not. But then everyone in the replies was like, no, I've seen them run this fast. So I was a bit like, have you? I don't know. Them, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like they were having a great time.
It did, yeah.
It really did. Warren, have you got one yet?
Yeah, I was just, as everyone was talking then, I just thought about, obviously, the sad news of Sean Locke the other week. And I must have watched it about 4 or 5 times now, the tiger who went for a pint.
Oh, yeah.
And I think just the images of that, just alone, you've got to say tigers for that reason. But yeah, that was funny. That's just, it's sad loss, but yeah, very funny.
They're actually releasing it, aren't they? They're publishing it.
The actual book. Well, I didn't realise until I looked more into it that it was actually, it's a classic Tiger. What was it? The original Tiger.
Came for tea.
Yeah. So I didn't realise it was based on, I thought it was just a rambling of a random thing he'd made up. But yeah, very funny, very funny.
Yeah, Belter. Good shout. And final part of this question. What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? Ellie, I'll come to you first, because you did clarify this question.
Well, yeah, wanted to know if it was playing or spectating. I don't know. I think if you add it to any, well, I guess if you added it to like snooker, that'd probably be quite funny. But then they're like that anyway, aren't they? So yeah, I was going to say darts, but darts is famously fueled on ale, isn't it?
Yeah, football, you get Sunday league basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dan?
Well, my initial thoughts were snooker, because I like the idea of a bloke resting his cigarette on the edge of the cushion and putting his pint in the pocket. But I was thinking, if you think of MMA, it just looks like geezers fighting in car parks, right? So it would probably make it more interesting if they were all hammered. Because they roll around on the floor like blokes in a pub car park most of the time anyway, just stoving each other in the head with their little gloved hands on. So I think it'd be interesting to see if they're all absolutely munted. That'd be good.
Just totally random haymakers flying at each other. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Warren?
Well, I think what they should do, they should have a twist on probably the most famous sport for betting. And what they should do, they should have one random horse and one random jockey who get bladdered before a race. But we don't know who the random horse and the random jockey is. So for all we know, it could be the favourite. And you're lashing money on the favourite. And away they go. And you just see this jockey like all over the place, like all over the horse. And the horse running in sort of S-shaped circles or whatever. I would make it a bit more interesting. So I go for horse racing.
Does the horse have to be... Does the jockey, the piss jockey and the piss horse, do they have to be together?
Yes, they have to. I got the idea from, that scene in Phoenix Nights where the horse is pissed.
The horse gets pissed.
Yeah, so I've got it from that, and it has to be like a
they have to be together.
bonding session for some jockey. Yeah, I mean,
that'd be quite.
For all we know, that's how the pub got its name. Do you know what I mean?
Because it'd be quite interesting to have a pissed jockey on a sober horse.
Yeah, I think
and the other way around.
And a sober horse. A sober jockey on a pissed horse. Because if you didn't tell the jockey that the horse was hammered, and the other way around.
Don't tell the horse the jockey's pissed.
Listen here.
Could have told me.
Glad the day on you.
Or
Story's absolutely skinned. Yeah.
Switch it up a bit. Get the horse bladdered on ale and the jockey on ketamine. Bang.
Oh yeah.
See what happens there.
Nice rock reversal.
Get that arranged after the Grand National. That'd be absolutely blinding, that.
It's probably like the car park in Aintree after the Grand National, to be honest. Though.
Yeah.
Bramley Toffee Apple has asked, said that well. At what? Now I hadn't seen this, but I can't unsee it now. At what point will Jamie Carragher admit that he was Ziggy in Grange Hill and Little Jimmy off Brookie?
You'll have to show the pictures on this.
I will. I'll put the pictures in for YouTube.
It's uncanny, actually, isn't it? It is uncanny.
Yeah. I'll use one of them for the picture for the podcast, actually, but it's him, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Very good shout. Very good shout. Yeah.
Ziggy used to annoy the shit out of me because he was a Scouser in Cockney Grange Hill. Of course, he had to be a red, didn't he? Phil Red.
Of course.
He used to walk. Hold on. I'm sure he did, didn't he? I was a very angry child. Oh my God, we're actually on the last question.
Wow.
That's gone way too quickly. Yeah. See, having such fun. Matt Jones, if you're DJing at a wedding, what are your 3 finishing songs? Ellie, you've got 5 minutes to come up with 2 more if you can.
Okay, all right.
Warren.
This is just quintessential mailbag. This question, I absolutely love it. I think you've got to sort of play to the audience a little bit. So you've got to go with something a bit cliche. So I'll go with probably Hey Jude to start for the third one. Then I'd go. I think you've got to go a little bit more something where, this is a belter song, but I never really heard it that much. So I'm going to go with anything by the Lighthouse Family, preferably maybe I. And then the final one, I think you just got it. And interestingly, this is a song that I don't think really works well down south where I am at the minute. But if you go to Liverpool, you go anywhere in the north, any Deacon Blue, particularly Dignity, you play that, it goes off, particularly if you've had a few bevies in the day or whatever. I was out the other week after I was just saying before we recorded, I was apologising to Les because Les gave me a lift to the game and I wasn't in the greatest of shapes and didn't really say thank you for him for giving me the lift. I just got out the car as quickly as I could in fear of being sick in the back of his lift. So I got out, but went out later that night and it come on and you know what it's like when everyone's bevied. It blew the roof off. Everyone's just out again singing it. So they'd be my 3 and then end on a bit of Deacon Blue.
Fair enough. Good shout, Dan.
25 Miles by Edwin Starr, probably one of the greatest records ever made. It's the record I want them to play as either my coffin goes into the flames or they throw me into a hole in the ground, whichever way that goes. You Really Got Me by the Kinks, probably one of the greatest, most influential guitar records ever. And I once saw Ray Davies tell a bloke in a pub in Highgate, a guy came up to him and was like, "You're Ray Davies," and he was like, And the guy went, I think you're amazing. I've been a fan of yours. And he turned around to this bloke and went, "Fuck off, mate. I'm eating." And and I just thought that's just the greatest. You know, never meet your heroes. And it's got an amazing key change, and it's just one of the greatest guitar records ever. And then to finish, I've got 2, and I don't know which one to go for. Either Half Man, Half Biscuit, National Shite Day, or Half Man, Half Biscuit, The Referee's Alphabet.
Oh, yeah.
Playing both as a medley and call it one song.
Yeah. That's me.
I was hoping you were actually going to say that band you told us about, which was vomit-inducing at the gigs.
Oh, Son-O. Yeah, but then...
Throw the wedding a bit of a curveball right at the end.
Yeah, then you've just got a whole room full of people losing bladder control, and it puts a dampener on the evening.
I mean, if you don't like the bride and groom, go for it. You know. I don't want to finish on mine, so I'll come to you last.
Okay, I've written them down.
Down. I'll go.
That's why I was looking down. Well, I'll throw in a bit of "Come On Eileen" because wedding classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible song that doesn't get like people always say they hate that song. You don't hate it. You've just heard it too many times. It's amazing. Then I'll throw in "Reeling in the Years" by Steely Dan because it's amazing, and that's one of those songs that everyone will go, I've not heard this song for years, or they go, who's this? I know this song. But also I was up till 1 o'clock this morning listening to a podcast about them, so I'm like this today. Steely Dan of all bands. And then I'd end it on "This Must Be the Place" by Talking Heads, because I think that would be a nice little clear the room, everybody out, but also enjoy the last song. They'd be my three.
That's a good shout, yeah. So you clear the dance floor, but not in a clear the dance floor dead shit kind of way, in a nice kind of... Right, it's time to go now.
I was at a wedding the other week and they played, it was an Arctic Monkeys one as the last one, and I was like, fine. But then everyone was just like really riled up and they wanted to carry on dancing. And I was like, it's not the way to get rid of people. Yeah. Not the way.
You need to slow it down. I think the only thing I'd want to do if I was a DJ, whether it was at a wedding or not, is I have got this thing where I want to hear Turtle Power by Partners in Crime mixed in Skew Me by Madonna. Because honestly, there's a bit in both songs that's exactly the same, and you could mix the fuck out of it, and it'd be great. And two amazing songs as well. So I reckon I'd do that, whether anyone likes it or not.
Ruining someone's wedding for the sake of listening to this mix.
Get on this mix, lads. Boom. Yeah. And then finish with a slowie, whatever. Yeah, that's it then. That's it for this week's mailbag.
That went very quick.
It was
rapid.
It was great. And a lovely way to start the weekend as ever.
Yeah.
I know, no Everton as well.
I know, so we can't even do score predictions. I'd say England games, but I've literally no idea who they're playing.
Didn't even know they were playing last night.
I didn't until I got in.
Saw everyone getting dead excited about those pictures of them with the cups. I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, and as someone pointed out, fans will generally piss in them before they throw them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say people have never been to a gig. They probably haven't, have they?
Probably not.
No. Very naive. Anyway, thanks to everyone who sent questions in. Thanks to Warran. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to Ellie. We'll catch you next time on Mailbag.